Yes. Minister, I'd also like to welcome you and wish you well in your new post. Objectively, I think it has to be said, to give credit where credit is due, as an opposition spokesperson, you won the confidence of people in the front line, objectively, not your supporters. They believe in Stephen Donnelly. They believe he understands the intricacies and the challenges, and they are backing Donnelly to make a difference. Now, there's not as much false dawns in the past as maybe their hands are tied. But today we are faced with a bill, free access to universal healthcare. Who wouldn't support that in their right mind? And I'm not engaged in repetition where my fellow senators have covered that ground. But in essence, we are expanding access to GPs, healthcare system for more children on a phased basis. I'm just concerned, it's almost like a parallel universe when that laudable, noble goal, as we strive in unanimity to reach the promised land of sláinte care, access for all. What do you say for the children who can't afford access and are waiting years on vital intervention? Do we say it's only 50 million to do more, which we all would love to do, yet there are children being left behind as we relentlessly do our best to get to where we'd all like to be? So we expand the GP access to GPs. Is the Minister aware that many of them are overworked, understaffed, swamped with people and patients that they can hardly cope with, where our brightest and our youngest run abroad as soon as they qualify and don't come back, and we can't bring consultants back into this country? So I'll put down that warning today. I'm not getting carried away. I'm supporting this bill today. But there's a major bell ringing in the back of the room here. And the challenge is, I'd like to know, Minister, how do you strike that balance and your prioritisation for vulnerable children who this will give access to children whose parents are millionaires. And that's great, because perhaps they wouldn't go anyway, and they wouldn't have, and maybe get all the sociological studies on that. Who wouldn't welcome as much access as possible for everyone? But it's at a time when our system is under huge pressure. It's at a time when the profession, many in the profession, feel they're not going to get the commensurate support to deliver out and roll out this service. What do you say to the people who are going to make this happen, who make the magic happen? We're the legislators, and we can provide for today. But what support have you for the frontline people? Because it left a lot to be desired at COVID. They were on the front line. They were told, contact your GP. It was several weeks later before we were told, oh no, phone them, don't just rock up on their surgery. And we had a minute's silence in this House for the latest healthcare professional who lost his life protecting and caring for us. And where was the healthcare and the safety, personal equipment for our doctors? It came very late for some of them. So, Minister, I have hope as you start on this challenge. You excelled in opposition, and it's not every opposition spokesperson that gets the immediate opportunity, at the first available opportunity, to just step into the shoes and translate words into action. And now the country's looking at you, Minister, and are wishing you well on your journey. And I know what I've said mightn't come as news to you, but I'd love to know how you balance that and how you square that circle and that major contradiction as we strive in the way we're doing, at the pace that we're going at, and yet, as Senator Keoghan said, and I'm glad you mentioned it, it's not a pretty picture. There are children who are waiting years, and you cannot turn back the clock. They're being deprived of essential intervention, and they only get one childhood. And there are adults waiting years as well. So I'm I am reserved in my welcoming of this until such a time as you have a greater, a fairer, more accessible balance and rollout of the services where everyone is treated equally. Thank you very much.